The use of technology has been in the professional game for decades now, and that technology has been made affordable and accessible to youth clubs like ourselves. So we've been looking into all of these companies out there with heart rate monitor belts, with player vests and GPS trackers, and we've come to the conclusion that we're going to partner with Beyond Pulse. So Beyond Pulse have a heart rate band and a little tracker that it measures the following four components: heart rate, active participation, distance covered, and player speed. So the heart rate monitor is used to measure the amount of time that players spend working above 8% of their maximum. Active participation measures the amount of time that the players are moving and exercising during a training session or a game. Distance covers the amount of time you're running at high intensity, low intensity, kind of a gauge of how hard you've worked during the training session. And each belt has an accelerometer, so it measures how fast you do, how many sprints you do during the training session. It's a good gauge of how hard you've worked, how many times you've hit maximum speed. Players can then access all of their data on the app from the training sessions. You get the distance covered, the amount of times your heart rate was into the red zone, your speed during the training session, how many times you hit a full sprint. So valuable information to see how hard you worked, and you can also see how hard you worked in comparison to other players. Please watch the next few videos to see what value Beyond Pulse can bring to the individual player.
Professional soccer teams have been analysing athlete health data for many years. Have you seen the devices that players wear underneath their jerseys when they train? This technology has been used for decades to monitor the health and performance of pro teams, making sure that athletes remain fit and able to perform at their best. While this technology is normal in the professional game, it has never been accessible for anyone outside of this environment. Beyond Pulse is changing this. We feel this same technology should be available to those that need it most, our youth. Imagine, as a coach, having the chance to go beyond what you see in your training sessions and have access to key health and performance data after each and every session. This data can not only help you improve as a coach, but help develop healthier players, increase team performance by that extra half step, and overall make you a stronger club. Now don't worry, we have smoothed out an entire process to make this data capturing technology a reality. Your players simply wear a Beyond Pulse Smart Belt to play in, and with a simple coaching app, we can unlock a new level of youth player development. Together, let's best serve our players, maximize the performance of our teams, and collectively, we can change the future of the game. Soccer is loved all around the world because it is dynamic, entertaining, and fun. The game is fast, everyone is involved, it's exciting. However, when we analyze youth training sessions, we do not always see or feel that same energy. In fact, some research shows that kids are only active for 50 to 60% of their training sessions. That means that for almost half the practice, the kids can be inactive. At Beyond Pulse, we want to help coaches maximize the efficiency of their practices and increase the quality time that players have on the field. So, we devised a simple metric called active participation that measures the amount of time players are considered physically active within a session. We want to be clear that low activity levels are often not the fault of the players themselves. As coaches, we have a habit of perhaps talking a bit too much, like when we explain our activities and when we deliver multiple coaching points. Instead, we could spend a little more time planning our practices for maximal efficiency by considering activities that are more inclusive and avoid isolating players for long periods of time. Active participation measures this. Additionally, an increased active participation can have huge health benefits for our players. Not only can we make sure our youth receive a healthy amount of exercise each week, but this can also increase their engagement in training. Participating in more inclusive, dynamic, and exciting sessions brings us closer to the reasons why we love this beautiful game. Have you ever wondered about what your heart is doing when you are playing soccer? Isn't it incredible that we rarely consider the most vital organ in our body and how it powers us through training and games? So let's take a look. Your heart has 4 chambers that fill and empty with blood after each heartbeat. This blood is being pumped around the body during exercise to supply your working muscles. As exercise intensity increases, so too does the demand for your heart to pump blood quicker around your body, making sure you can execute to your best ability when out on the field. Now, having an understanding of how your heart responds to certain activities is one of the best ways in which your coaches can gauge training intensity. The Beyond Pulse Smart Belt captures this information for each member of your team and presents this data to your coach at the end of your practice. It is important to remember that everyone's heart rate varies, and we all respond differently to exercise demands due to genetics and other factors. But now, with Beyond Pulse, youth coaches can be better equipped to tailor your training needs and ensure that player health is at the center of everything we do out on the soccer field.
Hi there, Mark Wilson here from Beyond Pulse. Thank you for joining us, and we're excited to introduce you to the Beyond Pulse technology. During my time as a professional footballer, whether it be for Manchester United in the English Premier League or FC Dallas here in the MLS, I was used to using heart rate monitoring technology on a daily basis. And this has been around at a professional level for many years. Now, in my role with Beyond Pulse, we feel it is about time we use this same technology for the health and performance of those that need it most, our youth. In this short video tutorial, we want to show you how the players put on their smart belts and how us coaches activate these belts through our easy and simple app. So let's get started. Step 1, fitting the smart belts. The goal, for the belts to fit comfortably around the player's chest. Not too tight that it causes discomfort, and not too loose that it starts to fall when they begin running. It is important to take the time at first to ensure the belt is sized accordingly. If done properly, this will be the only time the players need to adjust the belt until they grow the following year. At first, this may seem a little uncomfortable or unnatural. This is perfectly normal. We are asking the players to try something new, and we are pretty confident that when they get used to it, they won't even notice the smart belt is on.
So when players come to training or a game and to put the belt on, they simply clip the module into the chest strap. The strap can be adjusted by size so that it fits the players comfortably. And then you take one side of the strap, it comes around the chest, it quite simply clips in. You then adjust the positioning of the strap so that it fits comfortably around the chest as close to the heart as possible, but it goes underneath the t-shirt so that these two sensors can touch the skin, and that's how it starts recording the heart rate underneath the shirt. And then once it's in place, the players are off and ready to go and train.
Step 2, starting the practice. We know. The last thing you want as coaches is to have extra work placed upon your shoulders. But stick with us here. We have purposefully designed this app for you, the coaches. We believe that taking a total of 3 minutes is all you need to capture this unique data from start to finish for all of your players. The reward versus time spent is off the scale in terms of what this data can mean for the health and performance of your players and for your own personal development as a coach. As soon as the players put their smart belts on, have them quickly huddle around you, and all you need to do is open up the Beyond Pulse app, select the team that is playing, and you will see all listed players who have registered their belts. Here, just hit the connect and start training button, and in less than 1 short minute, the players' belts will connect with your device and you are all set to start your activity. Simply put your device away and let the coaching magic roll. Step 3, uploading your training data. Nice work. Your activity has finished and you are now wrapping up towards the end. This is the final step before you are able to gain a data-driven insight into how the players trained and how your activity flowed. To sync the belts with your device, We recommend gathering the players around for your activity debrief. Research shows how this serves as a pivotal time to recap your work together and maximize the impact of learning. This also provides a natural window in which you can reconnect with the players' belts and synchronize the data from the belts to your device. This process takes less than 2 minutes. Simply hit the stop button on your session timer and the app will automatically start syncing with your team's belts.
Name is Tom Shields. I'm the Boys Director of Coaching here at STA. The idea was to introduce me to Beyond Pulse, to the concept, being able to monitor and track our players' health, their wellness, finding a tool that was able to give us quantitative data or take the subjective opinion out of things was really quite important. Putting the health of our players first, that was big. Beyond that, the management of my staff and management of the performance environment that we're looking to create, the key word for me was accountability. Now having data that is fed to me so that I can understand or better understand the work that the staff are doing is incredibly important. We've spoken about activity time, we've spoken about length of interventions, we've spoken about understanding how hard we're making the players work. If we're prepping for major tournaments, we want to avoid that athlete fatigue, burnout. We want to try and avoid any risk of injury. Now having data that quantifiably details, yeah, this is how hard they've worked, this is how long they've worked, that's big for me. In addition to the ability to use it to compare player to player, and now we take out that subjective opinion of how work rate in training might affect development, and we now have a very valuable source of feedback that we can give the players, the parents, to better understand their own performance, to better understand the development needs, and really to see what they're doing to try to continually improve within the environment that we create for them.